Welcome to Dalton, Massachusetts. We're just leaving Dalton and we're going to drive to Northampton, Massachusetts, a short little road trip. I've set the GPS to the setting where we avoid highways. So we'll just kind of see what we see along the way. Should be fun. All right, the first thing we've come across here is downtown Windsor. Obviously not a huge town. This is the town hall. Yeah, right here it says town hall. And there's the church. Okay. So Easter just happened a few days ago. Beautiful white church. And they have a Veterans Memorial. There's a lot of names on there of people who served in the Revolutionary War, and quite a few that served in the Civil War, World War II, and World War I and II, I should say, and Korea and Vietnam, plus 50 living veterans. All right, we're in Cummington, Massachusetts now. We've stumbled across the boyhood home of William Cullen Bryant. William Cullen Bryant was a great American poet. Now, I mentioned he was a poet. He was also a lawyer. He would walk to Plainfield, Massachusetts, which is 7 miles, every day. Saw a bird flying on the horizon on one of those long walks. And wrote a poem called To a Waterfowl, one of his most popular poems. We saw his statue in New York City at Bryant Park. That park is named after him. I did a video down there in New York City. I'll put a little screenshot of that. He was the editor of the New York Evening Post for a long time. Most famous poem was Thanatopsis. His father took some rough draft pages off his desk and submitted them for review. The editors loved it. Put a couple of those pages together and gave it that name. Gave credit to his dad. Of course, that had to be cleared up. And after it was cleared up and they realized he was the author, they started to publish his poetry regularly in the review. And he was an outspoken advocate for a few causes, including the abolition of slavery. And lived quite a life. William Cullen Bryant. Kind of neat to see his house here. Okay, we've stopped in the next town, parked in the town parking lot. This is Goshen, Massachusetts. Let's look around. And they have a Veterans Memorial here, like most towns do. To the citizens of Goshen who have fought for the preservation of American ideals in the wars of our country's glorious past. All faced dangers, all endured hardships. Some lived, others died. Their sacrifices are remembered by a grateful community. Beautiful memorial. And across the street, is the John James Memorial, one of the more distinguished looking buildings here in Goshen. Okay, we've traveled a little further down the road. We're in Williamsburg, Massachusetts. And they have a very large Veterans Memorial here. That's a long, long list of people who served in World War II from this community. Look at all those names. They served in World War II. And right next to it, I'm assuming these are from World War I. And at the bottom, the Spanish War. A few names. And then that's a little thing at the bottom here with no selfish ends. These served that the principles of right might be established throughout the world. Korea. Pretty good contingent of names. Afghanistan and Iraq. Let's go over here. All right. These served in the Civil War. And Vietnam. Another long list of names, and actually spills over onto that plaque with a few names at the bottom from the Persian Gulf War. I'm gonna guess that this town is slightly bigger than the other towns we've been to. A lot of names on that. And across the street, look at those cool old-fashioned gas pumps. Very nice, very nice. And here we see the town hall, built in 1841. Now the Williamsburg Historical Society. Right next to it is the Williamsburg Grange Community Hall. This is a really nice town. Okay. The Mill River disaster, May 16th, 1874. I remember my dad told me about this. There was a dam built 3 miles north of here in 1865. It was 42 feet above the bed of the stream, holding back 90 acres of water at an average depth of 24 feet. According to this plaque, poor supervision and faulty workmanship of the contractor caused the dam to give way, sweeping down through 4 villages, closing mills, silencing factories, and paralyzing trade. 144 lives lost, 750 people made homeless. A lot of names there. Those are the victims of the flood who lost their lives. 144 people. Huge disaster. Look at the names. A lot in the same family there. One was 3 months old. Wow. Such a sad, sad disaster here. The largest disaster in New England of its time. according to the sign. Devastating. Okay, we've made it to Northampton, and here is a statue of Sojourner Truth. I mentioned her in another video I did when I explored Northampton last year. Let's read this. She had been a slave in New York State, worked for 5 different masters while raising 5 children. When slavery ended in New York in 1827, she ended up living in New York City. She felt that God wanted her to change her name from Isabella to Sojourner Truth. When she was 46 years old, she started to walk throughout New York and Connecticut, preaching and speaking out against slavery. And she was, by all accounts, an electrifying and dynamic speaker. She spoke out against slavery, got a lot of people involved in the cause. Just had a good chuckle with the ladies that are here cleaning up the park, doing spring cleanup. They said I should come back in a few weeks. Yeah, Sojourner Truth. She also spoke out for the promotion of women's rights, including women's suffrage. And she worked and lived here in this neighborhood of Florence, which is very close to downtown Northampton. If I recall, she actually sued for her son's freedom, and it was a big court case, and she shockingly won that against the establishment. And this is the house where Calvin Coolidge lived. He was the mayor of this town. All right, we're going to end it here. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.